Here's something that took me forever to learn. Oftentimes, hip pain, knee pain, back pain is coming from your feet. That's right. Oftentimes, our feet are weak, unstable. They're not strong. We wear shoes all day long, so the muscles are totally underdeveloped. Then when we squat, deadlift, overhead press, whatever, our feet collapse, our ankles turn, and the rest of our body has to compensate. Believe it or not, most of you probably suffer from weak feet. How do you strengthen this? How do you work on this? Start by walking barefoot and do it intentionally. Focus on every piece of your foot, touching the floor, strengthen the sole of your foot. Those are muscles, just like all of the muscles. If they're underdeveloped, you will suffer.
Weak ass feet.
This one took us, we learned this as podcasters.
Yeah, it's so funny that we just like blow right past this as fitness trainers and people in the industry. It's like that's literally what's connecting you to the ground and where you're driving all your force through.
None of the courses that I took had nothing on that.
No.
Yeah, they didn't put any emphasis on your feet at all.
No. It's weird because like we all take it for granted or we overlook it because we always wear shoes. But I've used this example before, right? If you wore gloves for 90% of the day, like how like sensitive or insensitive or distorted would the feelings in your hands be? What would the skin be like? What would the muscles be like?
Yeah.
If you had gloves that kept your fingers together like this and you just barely moved them.
Soft pillows,
it would change. It would change everything.
It'd be horrible.
What kind of gloves are you wearing?
I wear mittens, dude.
Yeah. But I mean, it would cause atrophy and weakness. And when we learned this years ago, it must have been at least 7 years ago, where we had Dr. Brink do an assessment and all of us had terribly weak feet. I went online and I looked up hunter-gatherer feet because they walk around barefoot. Their feet look very different from ours. They had thick, muscular feet. The toes were spread out like
they look like they climb trees.
Like they could do stuff with them. Whereas with my feet, if I take my shoes and socks off and I walk on the street, like
I'm always reminded too, when you see somebody that doesn't have arms, like what they can do and how they can function and like replace a lot of the gripping and the dexterity that you can achieve with your feet. It's mind blowing, but we don't focus on that or develop that in any sense.
No.
You know what this makes me think about is what are we doing right now, evolutionary, that's going to haunt us the same way in 100 years, right? Because it's so crazy that because we were born into that everybody puts shoes on babies and then you're right at like just 200 years ago it wasn't like that.
No.
So, it's like, so for most of human history, we didn't have these big, thick-soled shoes, and you most certainly didn't throw it on babies' feet right away. I mean, but then the next evolution, that was like maybe some leather, like a thin piece
sandal.
Like a sandal, like the real thin, so you're damn near close to the ground. So in just short amount of time, we've decided that that's completely normal and okay, and ignored any of the potential side effects of that. And so what are we doing right now that's going to be the same thing? And what I think it is the phones and the iPads.
Yes, yeah.
I think is it called nearsightedness or farsightedness, where basically you don't have the ability anymore to see
far away
a great distance.
I think that's nearsighted.
Yeah, we don't express that anymore. It's not something that's part of our everyday experience as much as it used to be.
Well, I have something is sitting in chairs. In societies where they don't use chairs, people can squat down and sit in a squat well into old age, like up until like if you go to certain areas in Japan, in the Middle East, I forgot where else, but
like India too, don't they have like where you like squat on potties and so that? Right?
Yeah, we're like some houses in Japan, I think in Okinawa in particular, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Doug can correct me. Houses don't even have chairs, a lot of them, and it's sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
And people in their 80s and 90s, and they get down on the floor and get back up, and they can squat and sit in a squat. The average adult, when we train clients, the average adult American can't squat parallel, let alone sit in a squat.
No, there's like there's a test and that they can determine like what age or how many years longer you'll live just by the ability to get up off the ground. I forgot what it was.
It's a strong predictor of all cause mortality.
Yeah,
can you get up or down off the floor without grabbing on anything.
Which is crazy because, to your point, there's cultures that they've just kept it that way forever. Yeah. It's still normal to have to get down and get up to go like sit at like a table. But we've just decided that it would be so that's another good example. So I agree. I think chairs.
Yep.
I think what we're seeing with I think chairs is longer, right? Yeah. So I think we see that already. I think the phone and the tablet thing, we haven't even started to see that. I mean, we have little bits of it. And you see kids are having low back pain and things like that. Just their heads are all rounded forward. You see
accelerating that shrimp posture.
Yes.
You see it everywhere.
No, it's terrible. I mean, if you look at like the anatomy of the bottom of your foot, maybe Doug can pull this up. It's covered. Your bottom of your foot is muscular. There's tons of muscles on the bottom of the foot.
There's more nerve endings in the bottom of your feet than anywhere else.
Yeah, and so and what happens also, those nerve endings connect to parts of your brain. They're underdeveloped because they're not constantly touching and working on different textures and whatever. They're always in your socks and in your shoes. And then the muscles become so atrophied that you have flat foot, people's feet roll in or out, and you just lose. So it's like you're walking on this unstable bottom part of your leg. And what happens is the rest of the body has to compensate. So when I was a trainer and someone's knee hurt, I would always look at their hips. I always thought it was their hips. That was the first place I looked. Never looked at their feet and ankles. I was never taught to.
No.
And what's interesting is I remember now looking back, there was a lot of clients I had where I struggled to figure out their knee pain. And I would often solve it. But what I think the way I solved it was I just got really good at getting them to overcompensate with their hips. When the problem was down at their feet and their ankles. Because if I had them take their shoes and socks off, when we met with Dr. Brink, I walk around the house barefoot. I try and walk around outside barefoot when I'm home, and I pay attention to how my foot strikes the floor. I look at like if I walk in water and then walk on the concrete to see what kind of footprint I leave. My foot used to be very flat. Now it's still relatively flat, but it's a lot better because I've done exercises like short foot. Oof. And when I walk, I'm more aware. Yeah. Is that one tough
very
for you
hard
too?
For me, yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I wonder if running and training in cleats are hard.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I over the years of being smashed, I used to think that having really tight laced shoes and cleats was like, it made me feel like more supported, and it really just smashed my feet, and like my toes accelerated to where they're like hammered down and underneath, and so my toenails actually grow underneath my toe.
You got like LeBron James
like
feet
that. Dude, they're just like look at athletes' feet.
Have you ever seen LeBron? You've seen LeBron's feet,
bro?
Right?
They're terrible. They're terrible.
And a lot of that is like
rich.
The way that you're constantly gripping, and you're just.
Well,
I'm always
when you're that big, when you're like these basketball players are so big that when they're kids. I mean, what size shoe they wear? 15, 16 or whatever. And they start wearing these massive sizes when they're like teenagers.
Well, yeah, that's even worse.
And their parents can't find shoes that fit them. Yeah. So, but that's, and so what ends up happening is it changes how you move, what you feel. And so, the next question people typically ask is, okay, should I start working out barefoot? You can, however.
To slowly get yourself.
Yes, because the weakest link in the lift is what determines how much weight you can use. So in other words, if I'm squatting and my low back is the weak link, then my low back will dictate how much weight I can use. For many people, if they go from wearing squat shoes, for example, to going barefoot, the weak link becomes their feet. So what happens is the weight on the bar changes now. Now you have to go way lighter, even though everything else feels okay, because you need to be able to maintain with your feet. Otherwise, it's the feet collapse or whatever. Now everything becomes
You don't realize that slight elevation that's really helping provide that extra bit of ankle support and stability. And so now you go straight to like, barefoot, and it's, there's more chance that, you're not gonna be able to stabilize.
That's when I first got a clue that it made a big difference is the first time I put on squat shoes, which was, I was an adult. I was in my early 30s. And at that point, I'd been squatting for a while. One of my trainers that worked in my studio used squat shoes. They did Olympic lifting. And they said, oh, if you wear squat shoes, you'll be able to lift more. And of course, that's like, I'm sold, right? So bought some squat shoes, and I added, I think immediately 15 pounds to the bar. Mm-hmm. And then I remember being like, why am I able to add more weight to the bar
that was
by wearing different shoes? Yeah. And that was a clue.
Figure that out.
Now, I didn't look any deeper into it because I was excited I could lift more weight on the bar because my ego is, not saying it's much better now, but it's a little better than it was back then. Yeah. But that was a clue, like, oh, I put these shoes on, I could squat more. Like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, it's funny to me when I look back now, the fact that I didn't make that connection yet after Brink did that assessment with me, like how obvious it was to me. It was like, oh my God, this is like, it's so, of course.
What was the one that you had to do toe piano where you had to do this with your feet?
Yeah,
and like, it was like they're paralyzed.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. I couldn't, I definitely sleep.
Was one side worse than the other?
Yeah, I have a little bit, on the left side, I have a little bit more of an external rotation on the left side and a worse connection. I've worked really hard on it for a couple of years now.
Difference.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah, I've worked really hard on it.
Running shoes, the whole running shoe market is based off of people's poor strength and mobility in their feet and ankles.
Oh yeah, big old foamy, squishy, propel you forward.
Or shoes specifically designed. So if you go to a good running store, they'll have people watch you run, and they'll be like, "Oh, you overpronate, you oversupinate, you strike here with your heel or whatever," and they'll give you a shoe. And the shoe is designed to
crutch it.
Yes, to crutch it. It's like the whole shoe market is like that, which is crazy.
Geez, one of the most famous brands ever, like Dr. Scholl's. Mm-hmm. I mean, that still exists. Yeah, Doug?
Yeah.
Like that's and that's brand was made.
Insoles are a huge business. Yeah.
Huge business. It's crazy to me. And I knew that. I knew about Dr. Scholl's forever, but never knew to fix that or to work on that with a client. Just, my feet are all messed up. Therefore I got to wear these
where was
special soles.
Was it a documentary? I think we all saw it where it was based off that book on how somebody went and studied barefoot running and noticed how the foot struck the floor differently when people were barefoot versus when they wore shoes. Because he went, I don't remember the guy's name.
He went to like Kenya and showed like how they were
born to run, I think.
Maybe he was born to run. And there was also an area in Mexico where people wear like a thin sole sandal and then run.
Sandal is just a strap.
Yeah. And then what he noticed was people who've been running the whole lives barefoot, the forefoot strikes the ground before the heel because the whole foot and ankle is a massive shock absorber.
Yeah.
But because we wear shoes in Western societies, we learn to strike heel first, which means you've taken out all that shock absorber of the foot and ankle.
Yeah.
So then you've got these shoes now with these huge pads to try to compensate.
Yeah.
And he filmed these barefoot runners running. And I mean, there was this, I don't remember the place in Mexico. Maybe you can find it, Doug. Well, it was like a running town in Mexico. Maybe look that up. But there were men in their 70s and 80s who were running routinely 10, 15 miles a day, no back pain, no knee pain, nothing. Yeah, and he was filming how they were striking.
I feel like it was more vertical too. Like their gait was a little bit different as they ran in comparison to, obviously, because of the shoe factor with that as well.
You think they'd be more vertical? I think they'd be more forward. No,
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was more central to their body.
Yeah. Today's giveaway is the RGB bundle. To enter to win, leave a comment below this video in the first 24 hours that we drop it. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. If you win, we'll let you know in the comments section. Also, 3 days left for our brand new program launch, MAPS Muscle Mommy. This is for women looking to build and sculpt, speed up their metabolisms, get lean, look amazing. The program is designed, again, specifically for women who want to become muscle mommies. If you sign up in the next 3 days, you get $80 off, plus the Thinner, Leaner, Stronger book, plus the Little Black Book of Workout Motivation, both for free, included with the $80 discount if you go to mapsmusclemommy.com and use the code MM80 for that discount. All right, here comes the show.
I mean, what else? Okay, so we agree the sitting.
Yeah.
We agree the iPad and iPhones.
Yeah.
Anything else that we're doing to ourselves currently right now?
Yeah.
That you would probably.
I already see.
I mean, I've said this before, but I think the ability to problem solve, like a computational ability, is like being eliminated based off of just like, if you have something replacing your how to get around, and like having navigation there, and you're reliant on that. Same thing with Google. Same thing with AI. Same thing with all these like. You're outsourcing all of the problem solving to electronics now,
and you end up losing the skill.
You're losing the skill.
By the way, the runners in Mexico were the Tarahumara. What is that? Tarahumara.
Yeah, something to that effect.
So we've already done that, by the way. What you're saying, Justin, we have an example of that. Like, do you guys know what my phone number is?
Yeah, no.
No.
No. Do
you know anybody's phone number? So whatever I used as a kid, I remembered.
I only know Katrina's because like midway through our relationship, she got so mad that I didn't know.
You didn't know it?
Oh, yeah. She's like, what if we're having an emergency and you have to give someone my phone number and you can't call me? I'm like, oh God. Okay.
All of us probably knew a good 30 phone numbers by heart.
Yeah, totally. I still actually remember my friends in junior high's phone numbers, their home phones.
I remember all my aunts,
all the way
and my
back
parents.
to my buddy's elementary school in 4th grade. I can't even tell you what
5 of my friends
what his phone number was.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't know. You guys, I text you guys all the time. I have no idea what your phone number is.
Yeah.
If I saw your number pop up without your name, I wouldn't answer the phone because I didn't even know.
Because I have the avatar of you there. So.
Yeah, I think
so. Okay, yeah, but
so remembering things is a big one. I agree with you.
And what's interesting and why I like you bringing that one up is because that one's harder to see. What are the potential detriments? Like obviously, you're terrible at that. But if it doesn't really necessarily hurt you, and it'll always will only get better with technology and AI, is that necessary? So like. What are the unintended consequences of that is, I guess, a better way to ask.
That's a good question. I don't think we know.
I know, right?
I don't think we know what that means.
That's what worries me, though, is the unknown.
Yeah.
That's why it's a good one you brought up. I'm like, yeah, that's interesting because my instinct is, well, who cares?
Yeah, we'll innovate something else.
Yeah, like, I mean, because we have Google, and then soon we're going to have AI, and then soon you're probably going to have it implanted in your brain, so who cares? You're going to be better faster anyway, so what does it matter? And I don't see any solar flares happening or anything where everything goes down and you can't have that.
That's not true. Wasn't there recently a geomagnetic storm that just happened?
Yeah.
That was like stressing satellites and shit. Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, look this up, Doug. This is why they had
subscribe to the nerd channels. Like
no, come on. It's not nerd. This
is about the Northern Lights connection.
Yes. Yeah. So in fact, Elon Musk posted on his X account that the satellites that he had were being stressed, but they were able to survive the geomagnetic storm that was happening. In other words, if it gets bad enough, so imagine that. Imagine if for 3 days electronics didn't work, just 3 days. Yeah. Who'd you call? Yeah. You would have called anyway.
I mean, so when I moved this last move that we did, we didn't have internet for like 2 weeks, and it was very enlightening to me how much I've become dependent on Wi-Fi. Even.
Oh yeah,
and that was pretty interesting to see, like how much our lives are
so
shaped.
Integrated. Yeah,
yeah. Like I don't think I've ever had a move like that where I was like, oh my god, this is a problem. Like we can't connect to the internet. I can't work from home. We can't watch any of our streams.
Myself?
Yeah, it was
boring.
And of course for a day or two, whatever. But 2 weeks. 2 weeks of disrupting the normalcy of your life and how much we've become dependent on that is a big deal. Really interesting how much that bothered me.
It's interesting. We used to have bigger disruptions back in the day. When was it 1972, Doug, when they had the oil embargo? And you had to
wait in line to get gas, and you can only get it on your odd day license plates and even day license plates.
So if it wasn't your day, you ain't getting gas.
Yeah.
And people had to wait.
Yeah.
You imagine a disruption
remember
like that,
don't you?
I do remember that.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
You were a little boy
sitting in the Ford Maverick.
Were you really?
Yeah, waiting for gasoline.
Just burning gas.
Just burning gasoline to get gas. Yeah.
Oh my god!
During wars,
what's even crazier though is even during that crazy time, it was still cheaper than what it is today.
Oh, way cheaper.
Yeah.
I mean, if you factor in inflation, maybe not.
Yeah, because it was, what was it? It was like $3 or something like that, which was crazy back then. I think.
No.
Oh no, I don't think it went that high. Back then, I can find the price. But
no, it was high.
During that time?
During that time, it was high. Yeah. Maybe it wasn't $3, but it was not like gas. I remember my earliest memory of pumping gas was 97 cents.
I remember that.
I remember 99 cents.
I used to fill up a tank.
I had my Acura Integra, which was
like, how much
like,
it cost you?
Dude, it was it was 13 gallons at 97 cents. So what is that? It cost me like, what is that? Like $11 or $9 to fill up?
I remember $20 was plenty.
Oh yeah, gas. 20. I'm good.
Yeah, it went far, real far.
Now it's $100 minimum to get.
So get this. The average U.S. retail price of a gallon of regular gasoline rose 43% from 38.5 cents.
Wow. So it didn't even go over
in May
$1.
of 1973 to 55.1 cents.
So it didn't even go over $1.
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny that right there. So if you look at the auto industry, especially the American
does gas store for a really long time?
No.
You can't, huh?
No, I think you have to put some type of additives in it if you're going to store it for a long time.
Yeah. So that, it's interesting because if you look at American cars, they were like muscle cars, power, speed, and then gas issues started happening, and they became just
all economic,
weak shit ass cars.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, four bangers.
Yeah, because of the oil embargoes. I think.
I'm so not a fan of that. Too.
I know.
I'm sure it's sad.
Like some of the coolest looking cars of the mid 70s, like the car Smoking the Bandit. That was a dog. It was so slow.
Yeah.
Because it had so much stuff on it to prevent it from burning gas or oil or whatever.
It's sad. I mean, I don't know, man. I know there's some people that are like love the electric car movement, so that, but I'm so not a fan. I'm so not.
We're old guys.
Are we? I don't know. I feel like there's some young guys that can appreciate too, like just a gas powered engine. There's the sound, the roar, the rumble, the feel,
It's because it meant freedom for us, I think, a lot more. I think there's just not that sense of, there's not that connection as much, I feel. I mean, some kids now, I think, are coming back to that a bit of like, I want to get my license and I, get a car and have, some freedom. But I don't know, man. I feel like it's not as much of a thing.
I mean, the sound though, it's the sound.
But that was all part of the experience.
You know what's weird though? It's sound, more than that though, Sal, because they've done even some of these dumb cars have like the artificial sound that they pump through the speakers. Yeah, but that's not real
sound. That's why people know.
Yeah, I mean, okay, then because it's still sound. It's just it's like there's something visceral about feeling the rumble and hearing it and it matching versus.
I wonder if
like I've been in a Tesla Plaid before, which is extremely fast,
super fast,
and there is a bit of it's exhilarating for a moment, to be.
But it's like,
yeah, it's just not.
It doesn't sound like that.
It sounds like
a laser.
Yeah. It sounds like a fart. That's what it sounds like.
The electric queef.
Sorry.
It's I think because we're just old guys. I wonder if
you think it's an old guy thing?
I think so.
Well, I want to hear from the young guy. I feel like there's young guys that appreciate that sound.
I think that because they'll always be like, oh, that's old school. But like, do you think like wagon owners and horse like racers were like, stupid, your car doesn't like sound like a horse? It doesn't like your
car doesn't even neigh, dude. It doesn't neigh, doesn't fart.
But there had to have been somebody at one time who made a car sound like that was like, we should make it sound like a horse. So people are going to like it way more.
If there's 100 horsepower, I want to hear it,
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Hey, is that okay? Yeah. So that's the origin, right? Obviously of horsepower.
Yeah.
Have you ever?
It's not a real horsepower, though.
No, I think it is. I think it's pretty. So that originally what they came up with the horsepower was like it was equivalent to 10 horses or 50 horses or 100 horses. The same power that a horse could pull with, torque and power wise. One horse is multiplied by that. That's how you get horsepower.
I don't think 1 horsepower equals the power of 1 horse. I looked this up once. I think it equals something else. Doug's about to pull it up here.
Yeah. Let's fact check here. It's something like that.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And like, what kind of horse? A big horse?
Stupid.
A small horse?
Okay, sounds. Team adopted in the late. Okay, let's see.
The output of steam engines with the power of draft horses. It was later expanded to include the output power of other types of piston engine. That doesn't say anything though.
But look right there, horsepower up in the top right hand corner. What is that?
This is what you do. Type in, is 1 horsepower equal to the power of 1 horse? How about that? That's a bunch of math, Doug. We don't know what that is.
That's not so.
Delta times time equals 1 per second.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're saying, Justin.
This is basically just showing that horsepower is used as a metric to measure the physics of whatever's going on.
Yeah, well, we know that. Okay, so but I want to know how equivalent it is. I think it's obviously it's not precise, Sal. You have a Clydesdale, you have a quarter, you know what I'm saying? You have a 1,000 different types of breeds of horses that are all different in power. But I think it's generally accurate, I think. I don't know.
I don't know. I looked it up once. Let's see. Doug's got it.
Yeah, I think so. It's a misconception that 1 horsepower is equal to peak power production of a horse, which is capable of a maximum of around 14.9 horspowers. So a single horse can do 14.9 up to.
This is just like the metric system.
Horsepower.
Stupid.
This is math. What are we doing?
A human being is capable of approximately 5 horsepower.
Oh, wow.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got 5 horsepower.
We got 5.
Potentially.
Justin's got like 7.
At least.
7 with
Clydesdale.
Yeah, it's like a Clydesdale, dude.
That's why when he walks.
I start making that sound behind him.
Dude, I got to tell you guys, I went to this place. Should I say the name? I'm going to talk shit about a local place. Should I say the name or should I hide it?
Is it a local place? Well, did they do bad service?
Bro.
Fuck them. Say something.
Damn, bro. I shouldn't ask you. You're just mean. Yeah. I'm going to call this. I'm going to call the name something else, but people who live around.
We give shout outs to people all the time that do good business and do good solid. So you should at the same
shout out for your terrible service.
So we were at home with the kids Saturday, and my wife goes, I found this place online. It looks awesome. I look at the pictures. I'm just gonna call it Funland. That's what I'm gonna call it. Okay. And we look.
Does it rhyme with that?
It's the fun is in the name. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
So I look at the pictures. I'm like, I've never heard of this place. This looks amazing. Like, what is this?
It sounds fun. Obviously,
it looks cool. It's like indoor, like things you can climb, and like there's apparatus you could jump over.
This is local?
Yeah, bro, it's local.
Okay.
There's like climbing walls and balls you can jump in. I mean, it looks amazing. Video games, arcade. I'm like, this place looks crazy. I'm like, let's go. So we roll up and we drive up, and I'm like, the parking lot, it's kind of scary. I'm like, this is empty. Like, are they closed? What's going on here?
Were you like East Side?
You know what it looked like? Hey, you know what it looked like?
What?
It looked like, okay, you ever been to remember Chuck E. Cheese?
It's like the Jungle Land.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you ever been to an old Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah.
With the old animatronics? You're like, oh my God. This is
so, dude, they made like a whole video game out of that. It smells like cigarettes.
Yes, dude. Hey, we walk in.
You know it's bad when you're at like a kid's place and it smells like an ashtray.
There it is right there. Look at the pictures. It looks amazing, right? Look at this. Watch. It looks great. I'm like,
you know why? These are like the photos from the grand opening.
Bro.
Yeah.
So we walk in, and it's huge. We walk in, there's one person working in there. That's it, at the front desk.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, are you guys open? She's like, yeah, we're open. So I'm like, okay. So she checks us in, and we go in there. There's no one in there. Half the place is like dark because they don't have employees or something. We start climbing through things, and I'm like, this place looks kind of dirty. Like, I don't know if I like this place or whatever.
It smells like piss.
It smelled like feet, you know, like little kids' feet. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know if I like this place, right? So we get out, we play little video games. I don't like this. A couple other people came in with their kids, right?
Yeah.
So I'm walking through, and I see kid barf all over the floor. I'm like, let's get the hell out of here.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did, bro.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
It looks fun. If you look at the picture, it looks amazing. It wants to be amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like whoever made it had put a lot of money into it, and we're like, this is going to crush.
So there's a franchise that we've been to that it's not this one, it's a different one, but it's very, very similar concept. I went for my buddies. You had like a foam pit you can swing into, and like,
bro, look at that. Tell me that doesn't look amazing.
No, it looks just like this.
I'm gonna take you guys there.
And I actually think they're a brilliant. But you know what happens though? The Bay Area just gets overwhelmed. You get so many people in it, and it gets just destroyed so fast. And
bro, there was no one in there. It was us and two other families.
Well, you know why? Because everybody came to it for the first 3 years, destroyed the shit out of it, and now everybody looks at it the same way you look at it now. They're like, hell no, I'm going there.
It was gross. Although
is that a franchise, Doug?
Is it a franchise?
I have no idea.
Yeah, no, bro. And then, but there is one thing they had that was cool. Have you guys done those arcade punching games where you? Oh yeah, you did with me when I beat you.
Yeah,
they had one of those.
Yeah, dude, crushed it. But I beat my old score, Justin.
You did?
I did.
I've used your technique, dude, and wowed a bunch of kids.
Did you really? What's your number?
I was like, dude, Carnival Sal, dude.
Did you get over 900?
It's like a single location.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I got 950.
You got 950?
Yeah,
that's not bad, bro.
Wait, what's the technique, Justin?
It's like a downward hammer fist. Dude.
No.
It's like
basically.
I don't punch like this.
It's just the physics. The physics of it.
Sal did it like this.
You have to hit it on a downward trajectory, because if you hit it straight on, you're not going to get it as much acceleration.
Listen, we went and did this in Austin.
I was so mad about that.
He couldn't figure it out why I was like crushing it.
Because I was hitting it way harder.
Hard. Yeah. And no, come on.
Way harder.
He got physically angry. Like, he was quiet, didn't want to talk to me. So I'm like, I better tell him the secret. Otherwise, he's not going to talk to me anymore.
I'm glad you did. I hate these carnival tricks. These carnies always get me.
He's mad right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So it was gross, bro.
Was that last weekend? Is that you guys were there?
Saturday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, and like,
did you go as a family or did you just take the kids?
Us and the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we left, and we're like, let's get the hell out of here. Now my kid was all sad.
So in a situation like that, who's quicker to be like, I'm out of here? You or Jessica?
Well, I saw the barf. And so I'm like,
okay, yeah, I'm like,
we need to go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, who's most likely to like as soon as you walked in, one of you was probably a little more like if Katrina and I are somewhere like that, like I'm definitely the first one.
Are you the first one?
Yeah, I'm the first one, and the two of us, I'm like
probably me.
Katrina would be more like, well, let's see what it's like, and I'd be like, nah, I like the vibe already.
I think me, right? Because she made the plans. So I walk in, I'm like, I don't know, honey, and so I think she wanted to stick with it, like, no. This is, and I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Because she found it, so she wants to try. Yeah, you can't. So
it just wasn't clean. Like, you look at the climbing stuff.
Bro, it had barf on the floor. You don't have to explain anymore.
Come on, dude.
Yeah. I mean, and, hey, that's the thing too.
Needs to be deloused.
And they give you socks. You walk in there, you take your shoes off, and they give you special socks to wear. Which is just, I don't know.
Hasn't been washed.
I kept the socks. I should have. They had like rubber things on the bottom.
How much was it per kid?
$40 for the whole family.
That's not too bad.
We spent approximately 15 minutes in there. So it's a total waste.
It's as clean as the equivalent of like bowling shoes. When you
maybe that's their. Maybe
at least they spray them.
Maybe that's their strategy to keep it like not busy. You just
People
let
just go
people
in.
pay, and then they go in, they see something, and then they're out. I'm out of here.
It's a bait and switch. Is that what it is?
That's okay. So that's how I felt about that other place, the one I told you guys, the water park one.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we were just somewhere. Where were we? Oh, it was when we were in Michigan, Doug. Remember at the meeting, Ernie or someone brought up, we got you guys can come stay over here. We have one of those. What was it called? What's the name of it?
Oh, yeah. The wolf.
Yeah, we got a wolf lodge over here. And Katrina's
lodge.
Katrina's like, oh God, don't say that to Adam. They're like, what? He's like, he hates that place. So I'm like, because it was the same thing. It was just like run down,
overcrowded, and they just, like you said, I think they just get overwhelmed and beat up.
I mean, that's how I felt. I felt the same way. It was just like, you get that many kids in there. Like, how do you keep it? Although this is what I think Disneyland does a good job at, dude.
Yeah,
that's also why they charge $5 million to get in. How much is a ticket at Disneyland now?
Dude, you've seen like the Great Americas and the Six Flags. It's like, dude, over time, just the amount of people coming in and carving things and like spray painting and tagging.
I went to Great America recently, and it doesn't feel safe. No, it doesn't. I used to go there all the time when I was a kid.
No.
But you're right. Disneyland does it well, but Disneyland also charges.
I know.
Yeah, that's why
an arm and a leg. It's crazy. It's because you have a lot of kids in there.
What?
Anywhere you have a lot of kids, it's going to be a lot of upkeep.
Yeah.
Kids puke on stuff. They pee all over the place. They whatever.
What is that right there?
This is a pricing for Disney.
That looks cheaper than what it is.
Yeah, it seems like it, doesn't it?
It ain't no $100
Yeah,
10 years
it's
ago?
way more than that, Doug. What is that written?
I don't know.
1985?
200 at least now.
Dude, yeah. I bought tickets recently. It's just a hell of expensive.
Those are like tickets to the parking lot, Doug.
Oh, okay. You might be right about that.
It's not the main issue. You're like, yep, you can come to the park. 145. You can come to the parking lot now.
Hey, did I tell you guys have you guys got recognized yet for not hosting the podcast, but for being on commercials for sponsors?
Yeah, commercials.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
somebody actually asked me at the gym, hey, somebody stopped me, excuse me. And I'm like, oh, they listen to Mind Pump. Like, hey, what's going on? You listen to my show? They're like, no. They said, are you like do you do like commercials for people?
Are you the Organifi guy?
He's like, I saw you on Organifi. You were selling their supplements.
He's a supplement guy?
Yeah, no.
I know they've been running that one a lot, so that was the first thought.
They're doing the Shilajit and the Happy Drops, I think, when we talk about them. They're running those two commercials.
I love that. We're out again, huh?
Yeah.
I finished the last Shilajit this morning, and then we've been
We had more and you ate them all?
Well, there was two. I think I like the Happy Drops even more.
You really like the Happy Drops.
Did.
You noticed it, huh?
Doesn't seem to make you happy, though.
What do you mean, man? Not now, because I don't have them. I was definately like super
stupid face
tired, and then pick me up.
Leave him alone. Leave him alone.
You know what's so funny? I don't know how much he told you about that, but I knew when I heard the 7 hours of him doing that. I'm like, I told him this morning when I saw him, I know exactly what went down. You rolled up to your dentist, who does all his work anyways, hadn't seen him in a while, and dentist is like, bro, you've got 6 cracked teeth, you got a root canal, we got like all this stuff like that, and I guarantee the guy goes, you know, well, we could take care of this and this right now. And Justin's like, can we just get it all done?
Yeah, he's like talking about 3 different appointments. I'm like, bro, you have me right here. My face is numb. Just
how long were you there for?
7 hours, dog.
No. Hold on a second. For
7 hours.
Yeah. You were in a chair for 7 hours?
Yeah.
That is nuts.
I was trying to tell you guys on text, and then,
I thought you were exaggerating.
I'm in pain, dude.
I knew it. That's exactly what
I thought you were exaggerating.
My neck, my face. Like,
I guarantee the dentist was like, we could do this in 3 appointments. Just like, no, just get it all done. I'm fine. I could tough this out.
Wait a minute. How do you do that? How do you eat? What do you don't eat?
I didn't eat. No, he gave me a little bit of this like protein shake before I left, so I could take some ibuprofen at least, which didn't do anything. I made it home, but I was like, and I was fine because it was still numb, but like I drove, and then once I got about like half an hour left, because it's to me it takes about an hour and 20 minutes to get there, Hollister. So the last 30 minutes, dude, it was like all of it started to wear away.
Please tell me you took pictures.
I was like, oh, it all just kind of hit me at once. Like somebody literally was like, you know, I
drilling in your mouth for 7 hours.
Yeah. It was jackhammering on top of me. Just
so 7 hours in there.
That's insane.
And you're taking breaks? How does that work?
I mean, I took like 2 pee breaks and then just like right back at it because they had to go, and they're on the back, my back teeth. So I had 2 upper, 2 lower here, and then 2 on this side.
So I'm just imagining how awkward it is because when you're getting work done by a dentist, they talk to you, can't really talk back.
Yeah.
So for 7 hours, did he just run out of shit? And just quiet the whole time?
What was cool about it is that they let me wear some of their noise canceling headphones.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I could still hear that like the whole time. So I actually, and this isn't even, we didn't even have like a spot for Brain FM, but I've totally put on some Relax Brain FM and was like trying hard. It worked for like, maybe an hour. And then after that, I was like,
that's a good Brain FM.
I need some more Novocaine, Like I had to tap
for at least an hour of dentistry.
Did you do laughing gas?
No, he's done that for me before, which was rad, but he didn't bring it up, and I forgot to ask.
Oh my God!
I've never done laughing gas. Have you?
I should have.
Is that nitrous?
Everybody likes it, huh?
It's fun.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
It's a good time.
For reals, it's funny.
Yeah.
Like it literally makes
you get all
goofy?
you get
silly, goofy.
You get super silly.
I've never
goofy.
done it before.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah,
I want to try laughing gas.
I think I asked for it the last time when I went to just do some basic shit. I was like, hey, can I get some
like a
laughing
tooth
gas?
cleaning. Like, yeah, dude, just gas me up.
Yeah,
Dude, I want to try that.
Yeah, you could ask, especially someone we know.
Yeah, you
I just walk in and take a hit of laughing gas, go
Yeah,
home.
no, you should probably be getting some work done or something.
You won't let me just hit it?
Yeah.
I think that they regulate it pretty strongly, right? Because dentists have been known to like.
I don't even think they offer it really.
They don't. They won't bring it up unless you bring it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm going to bring that shit up.
Yeah, I know. I brought it up. Bring it up.
Yeah. That's wild.
Paying all this money and we're doing all this stuff. May as well give me something fun.
Hey, speaking of fun, so these walkie-talkies that you got us, Doug. So what's the deal with them? This is for if shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
We could talk to each other.
Yeah, if we can't call each other, hopefully we can.
35 miles.
Yeah, but if there's
but
flat
there's
with nothing in the
buildings
way.
and things in front. Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is for the apocalypse anyways.
Yeah,
all the
exactly.
buildings are going to be crushed anyway.
Oh,
so,
God,
you guys,
damn, bro.
Is Truckee our central
you and Doug,
point?
bro.
Like,
You and Doug with these like end times. This guy's all stuck
He's
up on
Mr.
silver
Gold,
and
dude.
gold.
Yeah.
He's got fucking walkie-talkies now.
He's got silencers.
I'm sure he's making an underground bunker
Do
somewhere
you have
right
underground
now.
bunker, Doug?
Not yet. Working on it though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. But so
He's
these don't
freaking
work with
all his-
satellite. They just connect to each other.
Yeah, like a radio.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
So can I call you guys at night and stuff when you're in bed?
No,
Let's see here where you live. I'm trying to think. You and Doug might be
We're
able to talk to
dragging
each other.
over.
maybe
No.
we can try.
How many miles is it with things in the way?
I mean,
It's
probably.
structured. It says 2 miles in the mountains. I think.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I think
yeah,
it's
we're
like
probably not going to get that far.
You know, they are valuable to have though, especially like for your kids in the house or something like that. Like if they're playing outside or whatever.
Yeah.
Use this walkie-talkie. I have friends that do that with their kids.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Justin does that.
oh, you
Yeah,
do?
his boys when they go out, that's what he does,
my
right?
youngest, his group of friends in the neighborhood, they all have walkie-talkies, so they'll stay at each other's house. Oh, I'm gonna stay here for dinner. Like, okay, cool.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Way better than a cell phone with all the social media and shit on it.
No, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Dude, I looked up some interesting statistics or facts about margarine. You guys remember margarine? Do people still use margarine?
Yes.
They still use it.
Yes.
That's still a
Unfortunately.
It's
thing.
still country crock or whatever, right? And
What's the point at this?
You know what's crazy?
Time of-
For people who are like, whenever something happens and, fitness and health people are like, I don't trust that just yet. It's new. And you get shamed. You should just trust the scientists. It's like, listen, I've lived long enough to see so many terrible, horrible things that were told where they told us it was healthy for us.
Mm-hmm.
Margarine being one of them. We were literally convinced that margarine was not just an alternative to butter, but was a healthy.
Superior.
It was a healthy alternative to butter. Well, now, of course, turns out that margarine is far worse for you than butter, increasing risks of cancer and heart disease. I just learned this. It's apparently one molecule away from plastic. Did you guys know that?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
And do you guys know when it was invented, or who invented it? 1869. Napoleon. Napoleon.
what? Why?
Napoleon had somebody invent or a group invent a fat alternative for his soldiers because animal fats were scarce during their wars and stuff like that. So they invented margarine, and that's how they created it. And then it didn't become popular until much later.
The war on fat happened.
And then the war on fat happened, and then margarine became a thing. And if you look at those old commercials on margarine or Crisco, talking about how healthy it is for you and how crispy it makes your food. And there was somebody on X who posted old ads that.
Dude, those old ads are so epic.
Oh, bro, the title of it is "Trust the Science" in quotes, And then there's this ad of a doctor. He's got a stethoscope and he's talking about cigarettes. It's good for your lungs. It's good for your throat. It helps your cough. I was like, wow, God. We got away with that shit for so long. Yeah, so
it is fun. It's funny that that's to your point, like that today. It's like people shame somebody for questioning anything that doctors say today. It's like, why? When in history you have this, and maybe it's just because people forget so quickly.
People forget. We just get arrogant because we think we figured everything out, at this point.
I mean, we're living through one right now. I mean, after what just happened with the pandemic, and you look back, and many, if not all, the policies that we enacted made things 10 times worse. You see, what they do with nursing homes? Oh my God!
Yeah,
they took sick people, put them back in the nursing homes, and caused tons of deaths. And that was policy in many places. Like, you have to leave them there, and just got people killed. And then they told kids to stay home. Kids had no risk or whatever. And we don't need to go down the list, but that was recent. That wasn't that long ago.
No.
I don't know. Crazy stuff. All right. So more cool stuff. I pulled up a study. CRISPR technology. You guys are familiar with that?
Yeah.
Okay. They just did a study where they were able to bring eyesight to, I'm going to pull it up, to people with a specific type of blindness. So 79% of clinical trial participants experienced measurable improvements after receiving experimental CRISPR-based gene editing that is designed to fix a rare form of blindness. I mean, so good stuff on science. Like this, CRISPR technology is interesting. It's been interesting what we could do with this to help people with issues that we normally couldn't cure.
Have you watched some of all the underground stuff that they're doing with that?
No, what do you mean underground?
There's like a huge CRISPR technology underground community.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, where they do it on themselves?
Bro, yeah, where you have
Is that
people,
real though?
Yes. I've watched like a whole documentary.
Is that the one that Justin sent where they look like they made a spider worm? But
no, not just that. Yeah, not just that. They're like to themselves. There's people doing stuff for so they have super hearing, sound, and vision, so they can see like an eagle.
There's a specific name they call these self.
Yeah, look up underground CRISPR technology.
Is that real though? Are they really able to do it?
Well, and they'll take genetic traits.
Like a dog that glows.
Exactly, like a bioluminescence from a
firefly and put it in like an animal. Yes.
You put it in their skin just to see if it, they can affect
There's all kinds of crazy stuff like that happening. And supposedly, you have these people that are biohacking and doing this in their garage at home. Like the ability to do it from home is wild.
Let's see. Gene Club and underground genome editing. Wow, look at that.
See?
I should never question you when it comes to underground stuff.
Underground. It's all underground.
I don't know.
You thought because it was a science thing? You thought you were going to have me.
I thought I had you.
This is kind of like the transhumanist stuff, though. I mean, the transhumanist stuff was all about implanting chips and things to see if they could then turn on their appliances. And so people have already been trying to do this before. It's like they're, everybody else like me is worried they're going to force this on us. They're experimenting anyways.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, along those lines, this is a crazy one. They did a huge analysis of almost 1,400 patients with traumatic brain injuries. So traumatic brain injuries, typically they approach the family and they're like, look, your spouse, your loved one has had a traumatic brain injury. You need to make a decision within the next 72 hours or whatever if you want to pull the plug. They did this analysis and they found that many might have survived and recovered if they had not taken them off life support. How messed up is that?
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot we don't know. Yeah. Crazy. Would you guys want to be?
No. Let me go.
Are you one of those?
Yeah, let me go.
For reals?
Yeah.
Do you have it in your medical? You should
Did
have
you not
that.
Resuscitate?
Yeah. No, I don't. But I feel like if I was a vegetable, I wouldn't want to be on life support. At that point in my life, if I can't.
How long? Is there a time frame? Like if I don't come back after 6 days?
If you're in a coma, it's different, right? Versus, I think if you're for sure going to be a vegetable.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I never thought about how what's the time frame on that I would want to have a child. Because here's the thing too, though, if you're in a coma and the doctor's saying things like, because they can scan your brain and tell if you're mush brain anyways. Hey,
well, that's what I just read. A lot of these would have been okay, and they would have had some.
Well, okay. What do you mean by okay? They could have lived, but then they would have
survived with some support. It says,
in
the study.
Yeah. No, let me go.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, just if
you better put that in your medical records because I'm not going to do that, bro. So,
really?
Yeah, no. But like Adam's, we're going to pull you back, bro.
Yeah. Then at that point, I might kill you when I come back.
No, wow.
Just letting you know.
Wow.
So.
I'll tell you stories.
We're going to tour with holographic Adam. That's what we're gonna
Friend shoots other friend because he saved his life.
I'll tease you and shit while you're wake up. Flick you.
I mean, no, I do. I mean, you guys don't feel that way. I think that. I mean, okay, disabled in like a wheelchair, but completely mentally there still. That's totally different. But mentally, like if my brain is mush, but then I can still breathe and live, or like with assistance. Like, oh no, I'm cool, dude.
Really?
Yeah, I'm cool.
I don't know.
I mean, at that point, I'm like, especially if it takes a machine to help keep me alive.
Did you know that?
Because then the way I look at it, I'm like, it was my time. God was trying to take me. Like he was like trying.
If he wants to take you, he's going to take you. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be like, oh, cool, I'll let this machine keep you alive. You're supposed to go. You're supposed to go.
Yeah.
Wasn't there? I think recently the somebody who lived in an iron lung for I think 60 years. Maybe you can look this up. Do you guys know what an iron lung is? Mm-hmm. So
isn't that's the machine that does the breathing?
Yeah.
Right?
So I think this guy, when he was a child, contracted polio, was put in an iron lung and had to live in there for the rest of his life. And I think he was in there for 60 years.
That's like that song, "Bring Me an Iron Lung."
That's not what he says. What is he saying?
That is not what he says.
What does he say now, Justin?
Higher love.
A higher love.
Okay.
That sounds like I always thought it was iron lung.
Okay. 70 years he lived in an iron lung. That's what he looked like. Only his face stuck out.
Yeah.
The rest of it.
Wow.
Yeah. He was
70 years like that?
70 years
God,
he was in there. You know? Yeah, but I don't know, man. Yeah, look at that's his family there. Hanging out with him and stuff.
Bring me an
I mean, how rich do you have to be able to support somebody living like that?
That's the thing.
That can't be like
it's
covered.
Enormous stress in the family. Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question.
That had to have been hell expensive to be able to pay to have that for 70 years.
100%. Yeah, that's a good question.
There he is at 6 years old.
Holy
Can you imagine
shit.
being there for that long?
He actually looks okay right there.
When he was a child?
Yeah.
Well, it paralyzed him from the neck down, so he couldn't breathe. So an iron lung inflates and deflates your lungs, and it keeps you breathing.
But then now, was his brain function and communication really normal? Oh.
Yeah.
He had polio.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's from polio.
Mm-hmm. That's wild,
look,
right?
I mean, look at his face right there. He's painting with his teeth and stuff.
That's what he did,
and he looks like
that's what he did. He would paint and read and stuff. He would hold it looked like a straw, but it was like a device out of his mouth, and he would turn pages and.
Wow.
So I don't know.
Crazy.
I know.
I mean but his brain is fully functioning
totally
and normal.
fine.
So that's different. Like if my body shut down, so like the wheelchair thing. If my body shut down, but my brain is there, and I can communicate, I can enjoy entertainment, I can like be with my family. Like I want to know how much it costs to do that.
For an iron
No,
lung?
I'm serious. Like the average person, there's no way they could afford to do that. I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, insurance is only going to go so far.
He became a lawyer. Look at all this stuff about him, dude. He actually studied and became a lawyer.
Oh, see, that's cool.
Yeah.
What a cool story.
Interesting,
Good
right?
story,
But he
so.
just passed away. It was recent.
And I guess he looks like that because he's old. He's 70 right there, right?
Older. Oh, 76.
How did you live to be 76?
Man, what a crazy.
And not like your body just atrophy away?
Of course it did. Of course it did.
It's just.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sure if they don't show his body, but I'm sure it completely atrophied the whole time. I know. Wild, right?
Yeah, that is wild.
I know.
That's really. Where did you see that?
It popped up. Look at that. He became a TikTok star in the 70s. That's why.
Well,
that's why I saw somebody shared a clip on somewhere on X. I think it was.
He became a TikTok star in the 70s.
In his 70s.
Oh,
not in the 70s.
Oh,
he's a time traveler.
Yeah, I was like, bro,
he figured out time travel too.
Oh, in his 70s. I totally read that. I was like, that makes no sense, dude.
He's doing electric boogaloo like back then.
Wow, so that's crazy. He became TikTok famous.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I know.
Oh, that makes me want to pull up his TikTok and see some of the clips that he did.
I know.
I bet it was of him doing art and stuff like that. He was probably.
I think it's him saying things.
470,000 followers.
Iron lung man.
Yeah, I wonder if he said. All I know is he passed away, so I don't know what he said or what he did.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I know. And said he's always looking up like that. Look at that. You're always on your back, looking back at people while you're on your back. That's got to be that's so cool. But 70 years, that's your life.
That's what you know. Yeah.
You adjust to it, I guess.
That is trippy. I did not even know that. That's crazy.
I know. Crazy. Anyway, I got to tell you guys, my wife probably has to be one of the best salespeople for Entera. So she takes the peptide face cream anytime a friend comes over, as soon as they get there, she puts it on them. And then she waits because you can tell right away. Because you could tell. You can.
Katrina loves it too.
She'll put it on. She'll tell them to put it on, and then when they leave, they look in the mirror, and then boom, they go on the website and buy it.
Now, Entera is the actual company, and they have multiple different products, right?
They have skincare, and then they have the hair one that I use, the Follitin.
So just the two. Yeah. Doug, will you pull up the website and tell me what is the name of the face cream?
There's two of them. One of them is the blue bottle. One is the silver bottle.
Yeah,
we have them both.
So I have
so
both.
The blue one you put on first.
I feel like I noticed a difference in the blue more. I don't know the difference between the two.
Have you used them both?
Not together.
Oh yeah, use the blue one, then put on the clear one.
Oh.
And you notice within an hour.
Yeah, no, I know. I like.
Do you know what type of peptides those are?
I think it's GK.
Like the copper one.
Yeah. So what is it?
GHKC
GHKCU.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what's in the clear one.
Okay, so yeah, so I really feel like I noticed the difference on the blue one. So you use both together?
Both.
Oh.
Yeah, use the blue one first and the clear one.
Yeah.
And like I said, she'll have her friends do it, and by the end of the night, they're all like, "Show me the website." Give me
I want to ask. I want to ask them the difference between so I have three different. Not to throw the other companies under the bus, but I have three different GHKCU
type
peptides,
yeah.
And they don't all give me the same feeling after putting them on because I've been prescribed that for my psoriasis too. So you put it on my.
So this is not pure GHKCU. It's got other stuff in it as well. That's probably why it feels different.
Yeah,
because you're getting also the prescribed straight pure peptide.
Yes,
this has that plus some other peptides I'm not familiar with that are in there
because I feel like I get more benefits from that from the other ones
for skin. It's pretty,
yeah. I mean, it's supposed to be for my psoriasis.
I've never seen your psoriasis look this good, by the way.
Yeah,
but that's got to be a combination of everything plus the
tirzepatide.
The tirzepatide.
Yeah.
It's wild how big of a difference it's made. I can't even believe it. It's pretty crazy. Anyway,
I hope it stays that way.
I'm gonna. Did you guys hear about the law that they proposed in Canada? It hasn't passed, but have you heard of the law? What's happening in Canada? We need our Canadian fans to tell us what the hell's happening over there because I keep reading stuff about.
We do
Canada.
need like a representative.
What's going on
give
over
us
there?
Updates,
bro? I gotta pull it up because I don't want to miss. I'm gonna look it up. I don't want to misquote this, but from my understanding, there was a bill that they were trying to pass. I'm gonna pull it up, where you could go to jail for hate speech.
Oh God.
Okay. Which who determines what's hate speech, right?
Yeah.
That's the problem. But anyway, hate speech. But here's the thing: it would become retro. Oh, here we go. Ready for this? It's a new law called the Online Harms Bill, C-63.
Oh my God.
Ready for this? I'm gonna trip you guys out.
Yeah.
I can't even believe this is proposed. It will give police the power to retroactively search the internet for hate speech violations and arrest offenders even if the offense occurred before the law existed. So in other words, they pass the bill now, then they'll look at your social media from 10 years ago and throw you in jail.
How can they do that?
Do you know what that is, by the way? Very clear. For people who don't see this, it's very, very clear.
You know what that is? It's like
that's like dictatorship.
It's like reverse Minority Report.
Yeah.
You know, remember Minority Report was they see in the future.
Yeah.
You're going to do a crime and then they arrest you. This is like
you got to ask yourself why would they ever pass a law if they pass it? Why would they pass a law like this? Because if you're a political opponent or somebody that they don't like, they could very easily scrub your social media for the last 15 years, find something, throw your ass in jail.
Yeah,
that's why.
You know what's weird about that though, Sal? Is that it works both ways. It screws them too. It's like you like the people that are trying to pass these laws have to be in their 40s, 50s, 60 years old. So it's like, are you kidding me? There's a good chance that you got some dirt and some shit.
As long as you play the game, maybe they won't pull it on you. But if you don't play the game, then they'll pull it on you too. You know, that's the thing. It makes me wonder if these quote unquote leaders are not the ones being told what to do. Like, you're going to pass this. That's crazy. I don't want to pass this.
Yeah.
Like Justin Trudeau wore blackface a while ago, a long time ago. There's pictures on the internet, right?
Yeah.
That would be considered hate speech.
Yeah.
And he's the one that quote unquote is going to pass the law. Are they going to use it on him?
That's what I mean. That's why I was like, it didn't make sense to me. It's like it'll backfire if they do something like that, because the likelihood that anybody who's over the age of 40 hasn't said something that could be deemed as hate speech is crazy.
It's wild. It's wild that they would even consider something like that. That's the craziest thing ever.
Scary.
Yeah. Anyway, shout out. The shout out's going to be MAPS Muscle Mommy, the new program. Let's talk about that for a second.
It's on fire.
This is it's crushing.
Only 3 left.
It's crushing. We have more than 3 left. We won't sell out. Digital program. But it's a program for women who want to build muscle, boost their metabolism, sculpt, shape their body. It's got diet advice in there, supplement advice, lifestyle hacks, plus workout, of course. It's crushing. It's a very popular program so far. And because it's being launched right now, you get it for $80 off and you get 2 free ebooks with it. So you go to mapsmusclemommy.com, use the code MM80. You get $80 off plus the 2 free ebooks. So go check it out.
Let's go.
ButcherBox is a company that delivers grass-fed meat, heritage pork, wild-caught fish, and more to your door for great prices. So if you like your protein, you like your meat, you want it healthy, but you also don't want to spend a lot of money, check out ButcherBox. Go to butcherbox.com/mindpump. And right now you can get either salmon, chicken breast, or steak tips for free in every order for an entire year, plus $20 off your first order. That's butcherbox.com/mindpump. All right, back to the show.
First question is from Tanisha Awashti. Is interval sprinting good for fat loss? If so, how much time sprinting versus walking, and for how long?
So this is a difficult question to answer because it depends on the person, what they're doing, how well they're able to recover, et cetera, et cetera. So
the truth is, though, wouldn't use a quick, easy answer is that I think approaching fat loss through any sort of running modality is never a great strategy. Is sprinting great for you? Yes. I think it's a great.
Well said.
Yeah, I think sprinting is very good for you to be explosive. To develop fast twitch fibers, to do things like that. I think that's incredible. But do I think if someone asks me, hey, my goal is fat loss, should I do these things? It's like, well, no, there's better strategies for fat loss.
I think if you look at exercise, as there's 2 things you can look at. One is, what kind of performance am I looking for? Am I looking for endurance, strength, stamina? And also, does it build muscle or not? And the build muscle part will help you burn more body fat than the other forms of exercise. But when it comes to cardio, look at it from a performance standpoint. Do you want explosive power or do you want stamina and endurance? Now, they're comparing it to walking. There's a big difference between sprinting and walking. Walking tends to be rejuvenating and recuperative. Sprinting tends to be a stress on the body. So sprinting is much more challenging. Walking, I could take somebody who's overtrained and overstressed, have them walk, nice, slow, leisurely walk, and it helped them. You take someone who's on that cusp of overtraining, you have them sprint, you're going to hammer them. It's not going to work very well at all. Sprinting also requires a lot of skill and control, so the injury risk is much higher. I've never had anybody use sprints for fat loss. The only time I've ever had anybody use sprints was if they were an athlete and they need to get more explosive, with their speed.
Well, I think people sort of associate sprints because they see really lean athletes and they see this muscular physique. And so the thought is too, and which is a thought that's still out there about like conditioning and cardio being the best source for burning calories, which then in fact must mean that you're burning fat. But yeah, there's definitely a better strategy to apply for that. I do love incorporating sprints just for the overall capability of accelerating and moving your body to that degree. It really does help kind of with all other aspects of training and function, and it builds up your your capacity to be able to produce that type of and generate that type of force on command and control. And, there's a lot of benefit from the skill of sprinting. But, I would definitely look more at that from an athletic perspective than I would for any kind of fat loss.
This is the only way I'm prescribing this to a client is if you said to me, Adam, I want to be the most athletic, healthy version my body can be. Sprinting is in the routine.
I would definitely add that.
Yeah. That would encompass that. I want to be the healthiest athletic version of myself. What does our training look like? I'm incorporating sprints into that person. If someone says, Adam, I want to be the leanest, most ripped version of myself, there is no sprinting in there.
No.
There's no reason for me to do that for someone who says, I want to be the leanest, most ripped version I can be. That is not being prescribed.
From a pure fat loss perspective, I will almost always recommend walking over sprinting precisely because, well, there's a few reasons. One, walking is low skill. So I can have anybody do walking and I don't have to worry about injury risk and stuff like that. But more importantly, if they have the capacity, if they have the ability to handle the stress and volume from sprinting, I'd much more rather put that towards strength training and then have them walk.
Yes.
That's going to be better for fat loss. So if it's from a pure fat loss perspective, like, and you can like, oh, wait a minute, you're sprinting 3 days a week. No, let's take that out, have you walk, and let's take that capacity, move it towards strength training. Yes. It's going to be much better for fat loss.
Because that person who's doing that, if they could exchange that calorie burn and sprinting time for adding 3 more pounds of muscle to their body, those 3 more pounds from a calorie expenditure and fat loss point is going to be 10 times better for them. And so, yeah, it really depends. Like that's anyone who asks questions like this to me, I dig deeper into what is your desired outcome.
That's right.
And then that would dictate whether I would say that's a good idea or not. If you said, I want to be an athletic version of myself, well, that's a priority, then sprinting makes a lot of sense to me. But if you were like, Adam, I want to be the most ripped, shredded version of myself, then that doesn't fall into that equation.
Totally. Next question is from Live Lean with Luke. Any benefit to using the power plate machine for mobility work versus regular stretches?
These are getting popular.
Yeah, I used to be very skeptical. So power plate, you stand on it, vibrates at a very high frequency. And I used to make fun of it because people were like, oh, the studies show it helps build bone and muscle and et cetera, et cetera. I thought this is so dumb. It's a waste of time. Then I used one and I realized the problem was they don't understand how to explain it or sell it very well. And here's what happens on a power plate. Because of the vibration, it kind of gets your central nervous system to relax a little bit, like get out of the way.
It overrides it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you sit in a squat, you can't go down any deeper. Oh, that's tight. You turn on the power plate. All of a sudden, because of the vibration, the central nervous system calms down. It's almost like it tricks your CNS, and now you can get a little deeper. And that's exactly what it does. So mobility and stretching work on a power plate can be amazing if you know how to use it. Like I've gotten into very deep squats, very deep lunges. I've done ankle mobility on a power plate, and it does allow my body to move further. Then when I get off of it, I have this increased mobility. Then I work on strengthening within. Now, can you do that without a power plate? You can't. You definitely can. But the value of it is just it's almost like you're when you laugh and your muscles kind of get weak and kind of loose. It kind of feels like that in the body as you're moving through the mobility movements, and you notice that tightness gets out of the way. It kind of goes out of the way. And again, it's because the vibration is tricking the CNS or almost like short circuiting it in a way.
Yeah, to overriding. That's how I feel. Yeah. How do you feel about it?
Yeah. I mean, over the years, I've kind of come to that similar conclusion. I get it. There is benefit to be able to get depth, but I'm not so sure you're able to keep that though. I think it's a bit of a, like a temporary sort of, effect that it has. And obviously you want to be able to, like anything else, even if it's like I'm rolling myself out with a foam roller, I want to also be able to do the mobility work to then establish it and kind of reinforce it, as opposed to just get that temporary relief and then kind of move on. So I feel like a lot of people that use it. Yeah. I think physical therapists use it well. I don't feel like there's much use outside of that for like strength training or for any kind of, any real benefit that's going to stick.
Yeah, it's become really gimmicky in our space, and you see a lot of these classes that are built around it. I'm with you. I don't know. So I've experienced using them, and you get into it, and all of a sudden you can sit all the way down in this deep squat. You're like, oh wow, that feels actually pretty comfortable and easy to get down there. The question is, if I did that every single day, let's say for a week, getting down and sitting in this deep squat position, and then I get off the power plate and I go to do a regular squat, have I found this newfound range of motion? Did I get better connected, or did I get temporary relief just while I was on the plate? And is my body better connected on there? I don't know.
So here's how I use it. So I haven't used it in a while, but they have it at the Club Sport. Yeah. And so what I did is I would use it to gain new mobility. Then I'd strength train in the new mobility, and that's how you make it stick. Like anything else. So that's you have to then train in it.
That's what you have to have that follow up.
Correct. Yeah. It's how you use it. I think that's how physical therapists use it too. Yeah. They'll move through new ranges of motion, then they'll take the client off, and then they'll have them band work and strength. They'll have them do strength work to build new strength with it, like static stretching or any other type of CNS, manipulating type of.
I had one of my friends DM me just recently about it, and they were like swearing up and down, like, "Oh my God, so amazing! You got to get one of these." And I just didn't respond.
Now, okay, here's the other
I would
thing.
never spend that.
That's
kind of money
it. I was just gonna say the
really
cost. How much they cost?
Like 10,000.
Yeah, no, not worth the cost in my opinion.
I wouldn't spend 1,000, much less 10,000. I mean,
no. You could just get a foam roll that vibrates, and guess what? That is. It's hilarious. Once it's an old dildo.
Oh, bro,
it is dildo.
Hold on, did that happen to you too?
Yeah,
I had one,
fell out, and we're like, "Oh wow, look at this!"
I had one in my studio, a foam roller that vibrated, and it was a little knob that you turned, and then it fell out, and it was an old school white plastic. Like in the old ads, vibrator with the girl. She puts it on her face, those old ads where it's like, vibrate your neck. You're like, I know what you're selling.
Yeah.
It's inside the foam roller.
So and you're right, like that's a easy $40, fix right there than buying a $1,000 or $10,000 vibrating plate.
Just put a vibrator in your foam roller.
And then you could, and again, and you've heard me say this a bunch of times on the podcast, hey, if you got the money, then okay, then totally. Like,
are they really 10 grand?
Yeah, look them up. They were. I don't know if that was when they were
power
new.
Plates.
Yeah, it's not like I've been shopping for power plates, so I guarantee they're still well over 1,000. They didn't go from 10 all the way down to nothing.
What does that say?
4,500.
Oh yeah,
look at that, 10,000 for the one the one that is at whatchamacallit.
The one that's at the gym
is 10,000.
Not worth it.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's not even worth $1,000.
No,
if they were like $100, I would do something like that. But look at 14,000. That's stupid.
No,
sorry. I mean, like no matter what, there's somebody who's listening right now too who's gonna be all offended because they're, oh my God, I used the power plate.
It's transformative.
It got rid of my arthritis, something like that, right? So, but listen,
you could do all of that without it.
That's right. You could there's certain things that I think are extremely valuable and worth spending money on in our space that do tremendous. I mean, listen, an infrared light is expensive. I mean, just one of those Juve lights could run you $1,500 to $3,000. But
you can't duplicate what that does.
That's right.
Yeah.
I can't go do that really on my own, or unless maybe, and even the sun isn't giving me all
it doesn't do the same thing.
Yeah, it's not giving me all the same benefits. So it's just like you're not going to get the same benefits of that where you can through what you're getting through the vibration plate, through like mobility practices and doing it by yourself, or a freaking vibrating foam roller for $40.
Next question is from Tanya Barnhart. Do you recommend creatine for women? I heard that creatine is hard on the digestive system.
I will. Let me answer the second part first. So the hard on the digestive system, you'll know right away if creatine bothers your gut. But no, it is not a typically hard on the digestive system type of supplement. But again, you'll take it and you'll know you'll have gastro distress. Okay,
those are outliers.
I have gut issues all the time. I've taken creatine.
I've actually never had a client that had an issue with creatine.
Me neither.
Yeah,
I've never had a client.
I had one, but
that's how rare it was.
Yeah,
never.
Just a little bit of tummy.
Now here's the first part.
Reaction.
Okay, do we recommend creatine for women? I'm going to say this.
Yes,
and I'm going to be very clear. Okay, of all the supplements that exist in the world, besides a nutrient that will fill a gap that you're lacking, like if you lack vitamin D or you lack magnesium or you lack vitamin K, in which case it could be life-saving. Forget that, right? Of all the supplements that exist, there's creatine, and then everything else is in another category. That's how amazing creatine is. And I'm not just talking about muscle building and fat loss, which is it's phenomenal for. It's also incredible for longevity. It's incredible for organ health. It's incredible for cognition. It's a longevity supplement. It's great for mitochondrial health.
Methylation.
Like we are looking at a creatine is the one supplement I would tell everybody to use, including women. Now, what makes me sad about this is because creatine was initially sold as a muscle builder, which it does effectively. It makes you stronger and build muscle. And it does so by fueling your muscles with more what's known as ATP. ATP is a source of energy that your muscles use when you're lifting heavy things or being explosive. So more ATP, you're stronger. It also hydrates your muscles so they feel fuller, and then they probably build faster as a result. But because it was a muscle building supplement, women who historically been afraid of, I don't want to gain any size or whatever, I'm not going to take creatine, especially because creatine hydrates your muscles. What does that mean? You have more water in your muscles. And so then women got scared. Is it going to make me bloated? Mm-hmm. Not the same. Bloated is water outside of the muscles. Water inside the muscles is not bloat. That just means your muscles look, it looks nicer. They look fuller. They look tighter. Very different. That's what creatine does. So creatine across the board, young, old, male, female, I want to fight cognitive decline. I want to improve the health of my organs.
I'm vegan.
I want to, especially if I'm vegan, I want to become stronger. I want to burn body fat. Like, if you're not taking creatine, you shouldn't take any other supplement. Again, aside from supplements that meet nutrient deficiencies that you may have, because that, of course, can be life-saving. Again, like, yes, creatine for everybody. That was the one supplement I told all my clients to tell.
One of the biggest bangs for your buck, too. It's relatively inexpensive.
It's one of the most studied supplements. There's like 1,000 peer-reviewed or more double-blind placebo-controlled. It's like extremely safe. It's incredible. In fact, now creatine is now, you'll see this soon. I talked about this 9 years ago on the podcast. It's going to be one of the number one supplements we give to people as they age, because it fights cognitive decline and improves longevity. So, man, you definitely take creatine, man, woman, whatever.
Next question is from David Ellis, LAH. Does undereating affect joint health, or is that more of a vitamin thing?
Undereating affects all health. You will, if you undereat, first off, vitamin thing, if you undereat, your odds of a nutrient deficiency are much higher. Yep. But if you undereat, you'll notice it in your energy, your hormones, your skin, your bones, your organs, your brain. If you just don't provide your body with enough nutrients, I mean, obviously you'll die.
All your cells will get affected.
Everything gets affected, including joints. So if you want, if for people who want to kind of learn more about this, look at the studies on people with eating disorders, people who struggle with eating disorders over years and years and years. Look at their rates of osteoporosis. Look at their rates of joint degeneration. It's scary stuff. I mean, you'll have girls in their early 30s with terrible osteoporosis because they were,
if you're undereating and lacking calcium and iron and a lot
even if you lack protein, carbs, protein and fats, because they're essential.
That being said, there's an interesting relationship here too, because typically in our society we overeat like crazy.
Yes,
and then
we have an overeating problem.
Yeah, we have an overeating problem. And if you actually went on a kick where you, let's say, fasted for 3 days or cut out, went on a fasting mimicking diet, let's say, where you ate only 500 to 800 calories, say, for a week or two, you'd actually probably see profound benefits that are positive in the joint, because it would tamp down all the joint inflammation.
Totally.
So even though, yes, it's unhealthy to undereat for extended periods of time because your body needs those nutrients, there's a recommended daily allowance for all vitamins and minerals, right? And you can look that up for men, women, your age and height, weight and everything like that, get an idea of what that should be. And if you're grossly undereating and you're undereating all those recommended daily allowance, then there's going to be adverse effects and your joints and bones will be affected by that. But in our society, we tend to overconsume and have more issues with joint inflammation.
Right. In that case, it's actually beneficial because now you're losing weight, you're adding less pressure. You're in a position now where like your joints can actually, recover. So
especially if you combine it with exercise.
I mean, I share that because it's close to home for me right now with my experience with the tirzepatide and going so low calorie for that extended period of time. And it's actually some of the best I've ever felt. And it was obvious that I had this inflammation going on in my entire body. And by actually reducing my calories and arguably under eating for a little bit of time there, I actually felt positive benefits. Now I know better than to stay on that low of a calorie for a really long time, because eventually I'll get the other side of it.
Well,
right?
And two, I think as you're going through that, you focus a little bit more on hydration was a bigger factor. So you less the food, more of the fluid, which then really helps, the joint to have that kind of, lubrication.
No, good point. Look, if you like the show, we have a free fat loss guide at mindpumpfree.com. It's free. Check it out. It tells you all the steps, breaks down how to burn body fat effectively and not lose muscle. You can also find all of us on social media. We're on Instagram. Justin is at mindpumpjustin. I'm at mindpumpdestefano, and Adam is at mindpumpatom.